You can get a good look at a 4K by sticking your head up a Steelbook's ass, but wouldn't you rather take my word for it? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken. Today, guys, we are here for another 4K review. Today, we're talking about Tommy Boy on 4K from Paramount. So I have the Steelbook version that is available on Amazon. I think this is going for $29.99. There is also a slipcover option as well for $25.99. And there is a Walmart exclusive Steelbook, which, to be completely honest, guys, is a little bit nicer than this one. I think includes like a map and some other like additions inside of it. And I think that's going for about $29.99 as well. I could be wrong. I'll put the prices down below, but I'll link all the different editions. Three ways to own Tommy Boy on 4K. I'll link all those down below. Before we get into it though, guys, hit the subscribe button. You know, we talk about 4Ks, we talk about Blu-rays, we talk about physical media on this channel. If you like that kind of stuff, hit the subscribe button. Also, you know, comment down below, what's your thoughts on Tommy Boy? This is one of my all-time favorite comedies. I've been watching this since I was a kid. This came out in '95. I know I saw this when I was 10 years old. So like, I was just a big fan of SNL, that whole era with Sandler and Farley and Spade and Tim Meadows and Mike Myers. Like, that was just Phil Hartman. Like, that was such a great era of SNL. You know, the Farrell era was good as well, Molly Shannon, the one that came after. But like, my favorite is still the Sandler Farley era because it's that nostalgia. Like, I grew up with it. So when they started doing movies like Tommy Boy and Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison, like, those are movies that were just always on, like in my house, like on repeat, watched them over and over again. So I love this movie. I used to be able to quote it like frontwards and backwards. I'm getting older, guys, so I'm kind of forgetting quotes, but I'm watching this last night. It's all coming back to me. Like, I just remember quoting this to my friends and stuff back in like middle school and high school. And there's just so many great like lines in this movie, just iconic quotes. Tommy likey. Tommy want wingy, fat man in a little coat, and hey, do you know where the weight room is? I'll check it out. You know, there's just so much. Like, I feel Farley's got so much in this film. It's incredible. The whole scene where he's like doing the you know, he's trying to sell the brake pads to the guy, and he's crashing the car and lights it on fire.
New guy's in the corner puking his guts out.
Like, just all that stuff, like, it just flooded back to me. And it's not like I hadn't watched Tommy Boy in a while. Like, I think I watched it last back in like 2021. But like, I cannot, this movie is so freaking funny. They don't make movies like this. They really don't. I'm just getting into it, guys, talking about the movie. Like every 5 seconds, like, I'm laughing in this movie, and it's mostly because of Farley, but also Spade and just how he plays, off of Chris Farley in this movie is so pitch perfect. They had such a great like dynamic and chemistry with each other, and their comedic timing, like, it was no wonder they paired them up again with Black Sheep, which is also coming out on 4K, I think, this week as well. This is directed by Peter Siegel. He did a lot of like sequels, I believe. I think he did the Naked Gun third movie. So he was kind of the comedy sequel guy, but he did this movie as well. Good comedy director. I like the third Naked Gun movie. He did some other stuff. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. But he does a good job directing this film. What I think makes Tommy Boy like so good is that there's genuine like heartfelt emotion in it. It is a really like stupid, like lowest common denominator comedy, but at the same time, like, there is genuine like emotion in this film. I mean, you got the character of Tommy. He loses his dad, played by Brian Dennehy, like in the first 25 minutes of the movie. And the movie's just about him kind of, you know, slipping it because his dad owns a brake pad business. So the movie just becomes about Tommy kind of filling the shoes of his father and trying to be the man that he was. And he's just not equipped to do so in the beginning. He barely graduates college. He comes back, meets his dad. His dad gets remarried, then passes away. And now Tommy Boy's got to save the family business. He's got to save the town because the entire town is dependent upon this brake pad business. And it's him and David Spade just going around trying to sell these brake pads and save the town, save the business. So there is like a really good story to this movie, but it has like some really heartfelt moments. Tommy Boy, one of the greatest, most quotable films of all time. I love Rob Lowe. as the villain. He kind of got typecast a little bit there with Wayne's World and Tommy Boy kind of as the villainous, like asshole, dickish character. But he's great at it. And then you got Bo Derek playing the mother-in-law, and she's okay. She's not the best actress, but she does a good enough job. Dan Aykroyd in the film as well as the competition, the brake pad competition. But yeah, just a really, just an insanely fun movie, guys. Insanely quotable. And again, like I said, just kind of a heartfelt story as well. And Farley just does a really good job with that kind of material. All right, so getting into the unboxing of the Steelbook, you have the J card right here, the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray digital code banner at the top, 30th anniversary. I'm going to flip it around and show you the rest of the J card. You got the synopsis up top. You got the special features details right there, some other images right there. You have the casting list and specs on the back. Go ahead and remove this J card. Show you the front right there. Look at that, guys. Classic Farley pose with David Spade looking all snarky down there. Then you got the reindeer, the deer. Then you flip it on its side. You got Tommy Boy on the spine. On the back, you got the deer coming out of the car, which is just super hilarious seeing in the movie. On the inside, you did have a digital code, but I removed it. You have the 4K disc. You also have the Blu-ray disc. And on the inside, you have a nice little image of David Spade and Chris Farley in the car. So, yeah, nice Steelbook from Paramount, guys. Again, I prefer the look of the Walmart Steelbook, but this one ain't half bad either. Let's get back to the review. Now, getting into the 4K, guys, I just hyped up this movie, one of my all-time favorites, and I'm always on here talking about how I want these movies on 4K. Like, I want all my favorite comedies on 4K. They need 4Ks. So it's kind of going to hurt me a little bit to come out and say that this 4K you probably don't need. This 4K, to be honest, now, I will say there's some redeeming qualities to it, because when I first started watching this, I was like, I was getting ready to get on here and I almost shut it off like halfway through. I'm like, I've seen all I need to see. I can go talk about this because I've seen Tommy Boy like 100 times. I don't need to watch it over and over again. But I'm glad that I finished it, because it did get better. I felt like it got better. Then it got a little worse towards we got to when we got towards the end. But this movie, it's a native 4K restoration. There's Dolby Vision. There's HDR10. I was not very happy with the picture quality overall. There are scenes that do look very good, and do look very natural. My issue with it is it felt like something about the colors, like the colors were off. It felt a little bit too saturated in some sequences. Like I think the HDR and the Dolby Vision didn't do like certain spots in this movie any favors. It just felt a little bit too saturated. And I popped in the Blu-ray because I don't have a ton of experience with the Blu-ray. Like I said, I watched this for the most part on VHS, DVD, cable. I think the last time I watched this was on Netflix, because it was on Netflix for a number of years. So I don't have much experience with the Blu-ray. So I popped in the Blu-ray, went through a little bit, watched about 15 minutes throughout it. And I was more satisfied with how the colors looked on the Blu-ray than I was on the 4K. The colors just looked too blown out. The colors on the faces just did not look natural at all in several moments. But there was some spots, like when Farley and Spade like get on the road and they start going to the hotels and the restaurants, and like the restaurant sequence where he talks the waitress into giving him wings. It looks great. Like there's some moments that really shine and look really good. But then there's other moments that to me just looked awful. And there's some spots you could tell they just couldn't properly restore it all the way. Like when Spade gets his wig blown off, that looks pretty bad. And then also on the Blu-ray it looks bad as well. So I think that's just a spot that they couldn't get properly restored. It looks almost like VHS quality. So it's kind of dipping a little bit in certain spots as far as the overall visual quality. So I kind of question, like, okay, was this 4K like absolutely necessary? But I really think the problem with this 4K isn't the detail. Like it has good detail all throughout. I think the problem with it is the HDR and the Dolby Vision just doesn't make it look too good. I don't know like what they did. And there's certain scenes where I don't know if there was DNR applied or anything like that. I'm not going to get into speculating on that or not, but they just looked very like glowy. Like the characters just look very glowy and unnatural. And there's a couple of scenes like that. So like the first half hour, like outside of maybe the cow tipping scene and Farley gets like crap in his face and that looks really good and detailed. And then the wedding scene where he's like dancing on the stage with his dad. Which that even looks like too oversaturated, but the detail there is really good. So there are some like good moments and good scenes throughout this 4K. I just think overall it's just not a solid 4K. It's not. I'm gonna be honest. Like I didn't have this on Blu-ray, so I think like going forward when I watched Tommy Boy, I was so like just not into the way like some of the colors and some of the scenes looked on 4K. I think the next time I watch this, I'm gonna watch it on Blu-ray. And that almost never happens with me. Like I will always prefer to watch the 4K, but I don't even think the scenes that look good are enough to justify me jumping back into the 4K next time. I think I'll just watch the Blu-ray just to give myself a more consistent picture quality all the way through, because there's just some scenes in this that are just very unappealing to look at. And I just don't want to experience Tommy Boy like that. So all that being said, guys, I am again, like I was ready to get on here and say this is the worst 4K I've ever seen. And it might be, because again, I'm saying to you all that I would rather watch the Blu-ray than the 4K. So I'm definitely not really recommending the 4K. I'm definitely not recommending the 4K. But also, like, there are moments that look really good, and it did get better, like, when they got on the road, but then it got worse again when they got to, Dan Aykroyd's company and all the stuff that happens at the end. Like, there's some scenes there that just don't look great at all. So overall, it's just very inconsistent. I'm kind of just unhappy with it. I was hoping it would be more in line with some of Paramount's more recent transfers that they've done that have looked really good. I thought Flashdance looked excellent. Ferris Bueller's Day Off looked excellent on 4K. Major League, like this is a big example. Major League is like maybe the best 4K they've ever done. That looked absolutely spectacular. So it could just have to do with the way that it was filmed, the way that it was shot, the way that it was, colorized back in the day, the way they did the color timing. I don't know. But I just know that this 4K for me is not it. It's just not it. There's too much inconsistency, and there's too many scenes that just look too off with the colors, too saturated, too overblown. If that makes any sense. So yeah, I'm not recommending the 4K picture quality here, guys. So just know that. And getting into the audio, guys, you have a Dolby True HD 5.1, you have the French 2.0 Dolby Digital, and the Spanish 5.1 Dolby Digital. So you have 3 audio options here. There's also an audio commentary as a special feature, and I think the audio commentary is with the director, but it's not new. It's from the Blu-ray back in the day. So sound-wise, I thought everything sounded good. The movie's got a great soundtrack. I love the Come On Eileen song and some of those moments. I don't think this is a movie you need Atmos for, so I think the 5.1 is perfectly fine. And I had no issues with the sound overall. It's utilizing the same sound as the Blu-ray from back in the day. Now, I will say I didn't mention this when I talked about the 4K, but this is on a 66 gigabyte disc, and I don't have a huge issue with that because it's a shorter film, so that's fine to me. The Blu-ray is on a 50 gigabyte disc, and like I said, I think the Blu-ray overall is a more consistent picture. Now, getting into the special features, guys, a lot of good features on here, a lot of good features, but they're not new features. In fact, I think most of them are from that Holy Schnikes edition that came out back on DVD back in the day. I feel like I remember watching a good portion of these on that DVD back in the day. So there could have been something here that was new that they added to the Blu-ray when it came out. But I just know that none of this is new to the 4K. All this is old, past archival features, which is kind of disappointing. Again, when you're going to do these like special premium editions of these movies, like give us something new to sink our teeth into as far as the special features. Because as it stands right now, guys, like to me, there's really no reason to get this unless you're just a freaking Tommy Boy fanboy and you got to have all the editions of Tommy Boy. You want to get the Steelbook. You want to get like that Walmart Steelbook's nice. That Walmart Steelbook's nice. I would not recommend just getting this if you already have the Blu-ray Steelbook from back in the day, because it's the exact same Steelbook. So it's like, why would you even bother? The slipcover's nice. I like the slipcover. So again, if you just want to get it because you love Tommy Boy, you want to support comedies on 4K, I get that. I would never judge that. But I just don't want anybody to feel like they have to get this for the upgrade alone, because honestly, I just don't think it's worth it. I just don't think it's worth it. This is one man's opinion, though. Somebody else could watch it and think that I would much rather watch this than my Blu-ray. It looks so much better to me. Again, it's all subjective at the end of the day. I think that 4K is probably the most subjective format in terms of like what people are looking for and what they get out of it as far as how their TV setups are and all that. Now I'm watching this on a 65-inch OLED TV. So that to me is one of the best ways to experience and watch a 4K, but everybody's setup's different. And somebody that has, you know, a QLED TV may love this 4K. So it's, again, it's all subjective at the end of the day, but yeah, guys, Tommy Boy for me, it's not worth the upgrade. It's not worth the upgrade. I love the movie, one of my all-time favorite comedies, but it's not worth the upgrade, in my opinion, especially since you don't get anything new in terms of special features or anything like that. But that is my review of Tommy Boy on 4K, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on bell notifications for all future videos, and follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time. Fat guy in a little coat, fat guy in a little coat, fat guy in a little coat, fat guy in a little coat.